Are you ready?
Ready.
Are you ready?
Ready.
All right. Check this out. Let's use this for some centering just for a second, okay?
Love her already.
Check these lyrics out. A good friend of mine, Donna Marie Carey. The name of this song is No Solid Ground.
Standing on a hill, looking out around me.
Check it out.
Even though I can't feel it, the ground moves beneath my feet. The valleys turn to mountains, mountains to valleys. The desert's dry and barren once below the sea.
We're going to talk about the scariest thing in the world.
There's no solid ground,
When you're getting ready to change.
but the one my heart stands on.
There's no solid ground, but the ground my heart stands on.
There's no solid ground,
Yes.
but the holy one. I fell in love with a kind and gentle person. I learned to depend on him for my happiness. My life was soon filled with hopes and disappointments. When he could not meet what I did expect.
When you couldn't meet what I expected.
There is no solid ground,
There's no solid ground.
but the one my heart stands on.
But the ground your heart stands on.
There is no solid ground, but the Holy One. There is no way to know what comes with tomorrow. All that really matters is what you feel today. And the only thing to count on is the ground your heart stands on. The love will hold you up and always keep you safe. There is no solid ground,
There's no solid ground.
but the one my heart stands on.
But the ground your heart stands on.
There is no solid ground, but the Holy One.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you.
Donna Marie Carey. There is no solid ground except the ground my heart stands on. I tell you, we've been talking about love, and the Course in Miracles teaches that love is the thing that we are most terrified of, but we don't know it. It says it's the thing that we are most afraid of is God. And it says that, you know, God is love. And so love, it says, is what we're most afraid of. And we all know the rule for this class is that you don't have to believe it, you don't have to accept it, you don't have to believe it, you don't have to accept it, you don't have to welcome it. Some of it's going to be hard to believe. Some of it's going to be quite startling. And if you use it, you'll see that it works. I'm going to go through about 15 minutes of the material, then I'm going to throw it open for discussion and question for about 5 or 10 minutes or so. Then I'm going to go through another 15 or so minutes of material, because I wanted to equally move forward in material and hear the material, but also give us an opportunity to talk about it if we want to and if we feel like we need to. Is that fair enough?
That's fair enough.
Okay. So we're in the way of mastery, in the way of the heart, and we are in the primary characteristic of mastery. And we're at the, I'm at the paragraph that talks about, what is it? I'm on page 70, I think it's 74.
What
I'm on
lesson is
page,
it part of?
it's the primary characteristic of mastery, lesson 6. Love heals all things. Love heals all things. In the book, it's on page 74. It's where I'm starting. I'm starting on page 74. Okay, and actually, I'm going to start at the bottom of 73. All right. We're talking about the primary characteristic of mastery. And it says that the first thing that we should do is ask ourselves only one question. And the one question is, what am I choosing in this moment? What are you choosing in this one? What are you choosing in this moment? What have you given mastery over your life to? What perception, what thought, what feeling are you always giving into? Feeling merely flows from the thought or the perception that you've chosen. Your feelings are coming from the perceptions you've chosen. Your feelings are coming from the perceptions you are choosing. Your feelings are coming from the perceptions you're choosing. Your feelings are coming from the perception, like the feeling you're having right now is coming from the perception that you're having right now. The feeling that you're having right now is coming from how you're seeing this moment right now. That's, if you're wondering where your feelings are coming from, they're coming from how you're seeing things right now. Then it says, what behavior, what action am I choosing in this moment? Okay, what action are you choosing right now, and is it really expressing the reality of who you are? What are you choosing in this moment, and is it really, are you really giving us a real expression of who you are right now? The reality of who you are right now? Are you busy extending love? Are you busy bringing more love to the planet? Are you busy giving more joy? Are you busy giving more joy? Are you busy giving more joy, which is love? Or are you busying yourself fearfully? I love this. Are you fearfully busying yourself?
Fearfully
Are you
busy
fearfully
myself.
busying yourself? How? Trying to grasp at whatever it is you think is going to give you some love. Are you busy fearfully trying to grab or get hold to whatever it is you think is going to give you some love so that you don't lose it? Are you still trying to grasp at some love somewhere and hoping that you don't lose it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I want you to look at your parents, look at your siblings, look at your mates, look at your friends. I'm going to tell you something deep, y'all. You want to hear something deep? Yeah. Think about your friends, think about your parents, think about your siblings, think about your mate, and realize this. Not one of them holds the power to bring love to you.
What? Say what?
Not one of them holds the power to bring love to you. Not your parents, not your siblings, not your mates, not your friends, not your lovers. None of them, not one of them holds the power to bring love to you. Nobody can 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 bring love to you. So what are you trying to get from them? What are you trying to get from them? What are you trying to get from your lovers? What are you trying to get from your partners? What are you trying to get from your friends? What are you trying to get from your mates? What are you trying to get from your siblings? What are you trying to get from us? What are you trying to get?
Yeah.
Why do you ever insist? Why do you ever insist? Why do you keep insisting? Why do you ever insist that another ought to be conformed to what you believe you need? Why do you insist on thinking somebody else must be the way you want them to be to fit your needs? Why is it that you think that it's right for you to think you should try to get somebody else to change to meet your needs? Why do you ever insist that another ought to be conformed to what you believe? Now check this out, what you believe you need. I've got to change to be what you believe you need. And then it says, it is futile, 100% absolutely, positively futile. It is futile. It is futile to seek love in relationship with anything or anyone. It's absolutely, positively futile to seek love in relationship with anything or anyone. This is so uplifting.
I just remembered I had to go.
This is so
somewhere.
uplifting.
Yes,
This is
just
so
remembered.
uplifting.
I'm leaving
This
now.
is so
I just
uplifting.
remembered I'm late for something.
I know.
For the love out there.
So, with y'all, let's find out what the heck it's talking about,
I gotta go
okay?
too, actually.
All right.
We're going together to go find some love.
That's right. When I started teaching this class, there was a room full of people.
Now it's going
When I started talking about love, I've taught for 40 years, 35 years. I've never in all those years seen anything that clear a class faster than when you start talking about love.
Bye, Sarah. Bye,
All you gotta do. That's all you gotta do. All you gotta do is start talking about love, and that's when you'll see the most unconscious resistance, not conscious resistance. The most unconscious, because nobody wants to hear that nobody has the power to bring love to you, and that it's positively futile to seek love in relationship with anyone and anything. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody who really is dependent on other people to make them happy wants to hear that. Nobody who's dependent on somebody else to make them happy wants to hear that that other person's happiness isn't in them.
No.
When that person is looking for them to be the one that make. Nobody wants to. No, I'm looking for love outside myself. Do not tell me love is not outside myself. That has to make me feel depressed because I think love is outside myself.
Yeah.
So the minute you tell me love isn't outside myself, Lord have mercy, you screwed up now because that's where I think love is located. It's in you. You're gonna bring it to me. You're gonna bring it to me. Somebody's gonna bring it to me.
Yes.
Somebody's gonna make me happy. Somebody's gonna make me feel good. So then it goes on to say, it is however quite appropriate to extend love in each relationship. It's okay to extend love in a relationship. It's okay to extend love with everyone and everything, but the extension of that love, extending that love requires, if you're really going to be somebody that's extending love, it says it requires that you have awakened to the truth. So the person who's extending love, it would be a good idea if the person who was extending love knew how to love. And then it goes on to say that love requires that you have awakened to the truth that the only relationship, so what is awakening? He says this is a person who's loving you, who has awakened to the truth that the only relationship that holds any value is the relationship between you as the soul and God, your creator. So it says that you should not be extending love until you've awakened enough to know that the only real love and the only real relationship that's valuable is the relationship between you and your creator. Until that's the number one value in your mind, you don't know how to love anybody. You don't know how to extend love, according to what this is saying. That extending love can only be done by a person who's not trying to get it.
Say that again.
The way to really, the person that should be extending love is the person who's not trying to get it. Who's not trying to take it, get it, snatch it, have it brought to them, believe it's outside of them.
Yes.
Those people like to.
Love snatcher.
And that's exactly what a person is like who doesn't know what love is, and they're full of fear and they don't think that they're whole and complete. They are vampires, spiritual vampires. But that's because you need to really supply the love that they think that is missing by not needing love from them, because you are so aware of your relationship with God that you just extend love. You don't have to try to get it. So then it goes on to say, imagine a light, I love this, imagine a light bulb in one of your fixtures, a light bulb that looks out from its little filaments and says, well, I hope that person that walks in the door is the right person. If I could just reach out and grab them, maybe my own light would come on. It's like a light bulb sitting up here saying that if one of you are going to cause it to light up. That's the way it is when you're looking outside yourself for love. It's like you think somebody else is going to light you up. And so it says, is it not a lot easier to just take the cord and plug it in the right socket?
Oh.
And I've sometimes plug my cord in the wrong socket.
Yes. We know.
Okay.
We saw it in the paper.
That's right. So, how many times are you going to insist on trying to plug your cord in the wrong socket? Now, what does it mean to plug your cord in the wrong socket? What does it mean to plug your cord into the wrong socket? Well, this is what it means. Well, that one didn't work. I'll try this body. Oh, no, I'll try this person. Oh, no, I'll try this career. Not getting very much juice from either one of them, but I keep trying them. That's a person that's trying to put their plug in the wrong socket. The socket of it's outside of me. And then it says, and then you get angry, you get mad because it's not giving you enough juice. So I'm mad at everything in my world and I'm upset with it and it's boring me because it's not giving me enough juice. Or it gave me enough juice yesterday, but it's not giving me a whole lot of juice today, so it must be its fault. It must be its fault. You know what I'm saying? I'm not getting what I want out of you. It's your fault. You need to change. I'm not getting what I want out of you. It's your fault. I'm not getting the happiness that I want. It's your fault. That's trying to take your plug and put it in the wrong socket, the socket of, if you change, I'll be happy. 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 If this changes, I'll be happy. If this changes, I'll be happy. If that changes, I'll be happy. If that changes, I'll be happy. If I go to another place, I'll be happy. If I have another circumstance, I'll be happy. If I have no money, I'll be happy. If I look better, I'll be happy. It's trying to plug yourself in the wrong socket. It's always the socket that base your happiness on somebody else conforming to how you think they need to be in order for you to have what you believe you need, which is what goes for dating and loving and forming relationships in this world on the weekend. It's just a lot of people out there looking for someone that they can plug into.
And
They
suck
can,
them
and
dry.
think that something outside of them is going to make them happy. And so the Course is saying to us that there is one little tiny socket into which you can plug your cord. It is in the only one that it fits in. And it's the only socket wired to bring you the flowing and living waters of grace. That socket is in your own heart. You have to plug into the socket of your heart. You have to plug into the socket of your own heart. You have to plug into the socket that's on your own heart. You have to start plugging into the socket that's on your own heart. And we're not talking about the physical heart. We're not talking about the physical heart. Every time the book says something about the heart, we have a tendency to think about physical body. And it says the heart is the center of your being. The heart is not an organ in your body. So when it says follow your heart, it's not talking about follow a muscle that's pumping blood through your veins. It's talking about following the center of your being. So it says not the physical heart, but that which is symbolized by the physical heart. You need to plug your socket into the core of your very being. Plug your socket in the core of your very being. And how many times each day do you check to see that the cord is still plugged in? You got to keep checking in all day to see if you're still plugged into yourself. Wow. You can tell when you're not plugged into yourself because you become angry and you become unhappy and you don't like what's going on in your perception. It means you've unplugged yourself. So you've unplugged yourself, and it says, how many times do you remember to ask yourself? How often you stay plugged in depends on how often you ask yourself this question. How often you stay plugged in depends on how much you ask yourself this question. Is my commitment to love, or is my commitment to fear? Am I committed to love, or am I committed to fear? Am I committed to love, or am I committed to fear? If you ask yourself that question, it would allow you to stay plugged into your own power and your own heart all day. Am I committed to love? Am I committed to fear? Am I committed to joy, or am I committed to pain? Am I committed to joy, or am I committed to pain? Am I committed to fear, or am I committed to love? Am I committed to being separate from you all, or am I committed to being united and joined with you all? Am I committed to just keep on seeing y'all as a bunch of bodies that are different from me in the world, going about your own thing, separate from me, all of us in competition, trying to make it the best we can over limited resources that don't seem like they're available to all of us, and so I'm in competition with you, or I'm going to see you as the divinity, the spark of divinity that you are, the love that you are, the light that you are, the truth that you are, the power that you are, the greatness that you are, the freedom that you are. Am I committed to seeing you all beyond your egos and my ego? Or am I committed to just judging you and being upset with you because you're not bringing me the things that make me feel good and make me feel happy? Am I committed to the truth, or am I committed to continuing the past that doesn't work? He says that's what you have to ask yourself in some form or another in order to stay plugged into your power and stay plugged into your heart. So it says fear is the act of disconnecting your cord. So when you're afraid, you've disconnected. When you're afraid, you're disconnected. When you're afraid, you're disconnected. When you feel guilt, you feel disconnected. When you feel lack, you're feeling disconnected. When you feel sickness, you're feeling disconnected. When you feel limited, you're feeling disconnected. When you feel alone, you're feeling disconnected. Fear is the act of disconnecting yourself.
Wow.
Fear is the act of disconnecting your cord from the only socket that can truly satisfy you. And then you run around trying to plug your plug into somebody else's socket. You want to plug you run around trying to plug your cord in somebody else's socket. You're running around trying to plug your cord of life and power into somebody else's socket. Somebody else is supposed to give you life. Somebody else is supposed to give you happiness. Somebody else is supposed to give you satisfaction. Somebody else is supposed to make you feel secure. You're like somebody running around trying to plug their cord into somebody else's socket. And if you want to know how to plug into your own socket and your own power, you ask yourself, am I committed to love or am I committed to the past? Am I committed to love or am I committed to fear? Then it goes on to say, I would ask you to consider this one question. And as you look at your whole life, as you look at your whole experience, has it ever worked? I mean, be honest with yourself. Really, all of the ways you've sought for happiness since the day you were born and the time you were a child, has any of them worked? Have they worked to the point that you feel completely 100% totally satisfied? And so it's telling us that's because we're trying to plug our cord in the socket of something outside of ourselves instead of wanting to extend love, which is what we would do if we realized our only relationship that had any meaning is the relationship with God. Because that's the only person who can truly love. Everybody else is getters. Everybody else is getters. So, but they're innocent, but they're getters. So, boom, 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 boom. I'm going to stop here and give everybody a chance to ask questions, make a comment, discuss, or whatever you want to do. And then I'll put a little stopwatch on it so we can keep on moving forward there. All right, here we go. Yes, Donna.
So a current theme has been just neutral and taking care of myself, but also giving and love. So that's kind of what I walked into, apologizing all the way.
Would you mind speaking up louder?
I have a small voice.
I know.
No problem, I can yell.
Okay. It's hard to hear, that's all.
No, it's okay. So I walked into today and I literally was just going back and forth of should I take care of myself? And I felt divinely ready to be here.
Mm-hmm.
After people agreeing and people telling me different. So balance is cool. Do you have advice? I just want to be here and see all of your sweet souls.
Yes, what you do is you don't look for anybody in this room to bring you or give you love. Recognize that the most important relationship that you could possibly cultivate right now is your relationship with God, and then ask yourself from moment to moment, what am I committed to when I'm in this room right now? Am I committed to extending love? Am I committed to being love? Or am I committed to fear? That's what he was just telling us is what we need to do, is to recognize that whenever we feel any kind of discouragement or not as joyful as we want to feel, it just means we have disconnected our cord from our own relationship with God and our own connection to power, and now we're looking for someone else to give us a thrill or to make us feel good or make us feel happy. So it's asking myself over and over again all day, what am I committed to?
And I did that. And I walked home pissed off. I won't claim who I was pissed off at.
Mm-hmm. Right, but you can only be pissed off at somebody if you're expecting them to conform to a need that you have that they don't do. See, that's what. Right, but that's the thing. That's the thing.
I'm here.
Mm-hmm. That's great. But did y'all hear that? Whenever you're angry, it just means you're trying to plug your cord in somebody else's socket. You come up with some need that you believe they must meet, conform to, or take care of in order to bring you the happiness that you want. And then the error that people make is then they accuse those people of being selfish if they don't want to conform to their control.
What if my cat just chewable and completely brand new phone cord?
Again,
Yeah.
you have to ask yourself in that moment, am I committed to love in this moment, or am I committed to fear and upset in this moment? That's what it's
And I
saying
did-
every
I
time.
said,
Mhm.
you can have it.
Mhm. Well, you chose for love in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, you made your
So
commitment to
just
peace.
making sure that
Yeah.
I'm on the right path.
You're on the right path. You're making the choice for love.
Place.
Can't be the wrong place. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? Any comment, question, Chris?
So Earl, I've heard this, I've heard this that, nothing can bring love to me. It's futile for me to seek love in a relationship. Only by extending love can I receive love. I've heard this many times, but there's still a part of me, a big part of me, that rebels against that. And that, there's a big part of me that rebels like a kid throwing a tantrum fit and goes out there and is like, I'm gonna prove this wrong. And then it's only when I get in enough pain that then I'm like, okay, I can only give love, I can't receive love. And then so now I'm trying to change that. And when those feelings of me, like the neediness and of the cleanness comes on, I'm trying to tell myself, okay, I can only extend love. I am love. I can only extend love. I can't receive love. But just the persistence of that part of me that's like, I gotta have it. And I don't know, I feel worn down at times. I feel worn down, and I feel like I can't surmount this. I can't overcome this. I feel worn down.
Right.
And I just then I'm like I don't know if there's hope that I can ever overcome this, because there's times, short times, when I do overcome this, but then there's times when I'm just like, and I know it, and I tell myself the things, I'm choosing it, it's my choice, and I tell myself all of these things, and still there's a part of me that's just like going there and in pain.
Yeah, because still, in spite of, first of all, readiness is not mastery. Readiness isn't mastery. Just because you say you're ready to become a more loving, conscious being does not mean that you mastered it. And just because you read a book and you hear us say this, it's just like me telling you about flying and expect you to go down to DIA and get in the plane and fly off. You can listen to me, but it's not going to give you the skill to do it. It just means that you are beginning to have some willingness to approach it and willingness to change. The other reason why the weariness comes to us is that we're trusting in our own strength and not the strength of God. That we've forgotten that we have help, that we have support, that we have invisible support, because we've been educated to always try to be autonomous and self-sufficient and do everything on our own. And the spiritual path is the one thing you can never do on your own, because the purpose of it is to teach you that you're not alone. So it's set up where if every time I try to do it on my own, it'll feel like I'm weary, and it'll feel like I'm tired. And you would not be getting weary and tired if you were not beginning to challenge your ego and begin to move in a new direction. Did you feeling weary? That's the old part of you that's used to keeping you trying to plug into somebody else's socket, becoming afraid because you're learning that that's a con game that you don't want to fall for anymore. And it's wearying to that part of the mind that's used to being in control but's losing its control. So everything you're feeling is a good sign. Everything that because you need to be able to say, this is my frustration, this is what I'm making myself feel right now, this is what's happening for me in this moment. But what's really important is that you express that feeling and then keep on moving in the direction of your goal. Regardless of how, remember it's a part in the course where he says, whatever your reactions to the ideas, use them. Whatever your reaction to the ideas, use them. So if their reaction is frustration, use them. If my reaction is weariness, use them. If my reaction is like some days you feel great to hear it, totally turns you on, then still use them. So just keep using them and you'll move past it. I promise you. And I'm glad to hear you say that, because I personally don't believe people are really challenging themselves and practicing the truth if they don't go through some level of disorientation and confusion. I don't think people have even heard what I'm saying in this class if they have no kind of emotional reaction in any way, shape, form, or fashion to what they've heard. Because what we're hearing is not something we hear every day. It is not something we were taught. It's not something you see on TV. So to hear something as unusual as what the way of master is saying and act like it's something you hear every day probably means you're not hearing it at all. And you can always tell when someone does hear it because it usually generates an immediate reaction of some type of a question or some type of emotion or some type of look on their face. So it's easy to know who's hearing it, you know, because when you hear something that's radically different from what you already think, it's natural to have some type of resistance to that. And then if you say, well, I don't have any resistance, then why are you not expressing the joy and the love that is describing that we should be experiencing with you? So now you're just in denial. You know what I'm saying? And that's okay. Denial's not a river in Egypt. It's all right. It just means we need to use denial positively. And the Course in Miracles says the way that you use denial in a positive way is to deny that anything that's not of God has any power over you. So I'm going to deny that anything that's not of love has any power over me. I'm through now giving power to what's not loving to me and giving value to what's not loving in my perception. You know, even though the love I'm receiving was going to be a reflection of the love I'm giving. So if I don't see none, I'm not giving none because I can't get none from nobody else anyway. So it's at the point that I'm extending it that it looks like people around me all of a sudden are being real loving toward me. And the trick is, well, he's going to get to that. Let me go further. Because he's going to get into exactly the questions that come up in our mind about all of it. Like all the questions that's coming up about, what you mean nobody can love me? He's going to answer it. It says, yeah.
Can I say something just really quick?
Yeah.
It's interesting that you say that because like today the ego was just like, you know, find that love outside and there was and finally I got pissed off. I got pissed off, Earl, and like Sundays I went to a Course of Love class in Sunday's class and CJ posted this thing about not abdicating your magnificence to the ego. And finally today I was just like, you know, on the way over here I was just like, you know what? I'm not gonna abdicate. I'm not gonna abdicate my magnificence to you neediness, to you codependency, to you clinginess. I'm not gonna do it. And it just I just get to that point where I just get like pissed off, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to give in to you.
Well, that's called positive pissed off. That's a very high level of pissed off. It's the positive pissed off. And you're right. You know, anger that's based on the idea that I've had enough and I'm not going to take it anymore, and I'm going to allow myself to have what I deserve. That's good. That's good. That's a good use of anger and a good use of the frustration that you feel. Because, brother, I'm exactly the same way that you feel. That's the way I feel right now. You know, it's some ways that I want to express myself and things I want to say in here and things I want to share that might make people leave who've been coming all the time, or let some people come in that I've never seen before. But the one thing I know is all of your power and all your joy comes from being your authentic self. And the more you want to be happy, the more you're going to insist on being yourself. That's one of the ways you can tell that you're beginning to love yourself, because you will draw a line in the sand about what you will and will not accept anymore in your life and in your experience. And so it's saying to us right now, imagine trying to hold flowing water in the palm of your hand by squeezing your fingers together. How much water are you going to be left with? It says, doesn't it just run through your fingers no matter how hard you try? It finds the little holes and then it flows through your hands. It says you open your hand and there's not enough water left there to even wet your tongue. Well, every time you look at somebody else, whether it's a parent or a sibling or a friend or a mate or a teacher or whatever physical person or object, and you try to plug into that socket to get some juice that you believe you need, that's just what you're doing. It's like water you're trying to squeeze between your hand. That's what happens in relationships. We get somebody and we're in a needy place and we don't think we're loving, and we just squeeze all the life out of the relationship. We just take that love and we just squeeze it out of our fear and out of our not knowing that we're plugged into the source within ourselves, so we think that we need something outside of ourselves to make us happy. And he says, so you end up squeezing the life out of your relationships with people. When you seek first the kingdom, when you seek first the love, and when you plug that cord into the socket that's inside of your own heart, when you remember that you and your creator are one, he says, and when you remember that the only thing that's real is love, and nothing else matters to you anymore but love, he says, then you will remember that the temptation to find love outside yourself is nothing more than an old habit. We're just in the habit of seeking things outside of ourselves. We're just in the habit of thinking that it's us. That's why you have to be patient with yourself, Chris, because your illusions have to fade away. You have to give them time enough to fade away. And the more that you get upset with yourself about getting upset, then the more it'll happen. When you stop getting upset about getting upset and just understand you just feel upset, then it'll go away. It's our judgment of our emotions that keep them hanging around. So it's okay to feel however you feel while you're doing this, as long as you just continue to do it. You can have any emotional reaction that you want, as long as you just continue to do it, because then you plug it into your own socket and you're going to win. When you make it in your mind, like every ounce of this path, you have to feel good every second about everything that you're hearing and everything that you're doing, then you're taking the slow way to spiritual enlightenment, because there is no way that you are going to completely flip your perspective and not go through some disorientation and some change.
Right.
So it's telling us, well, what should we do? Then stop making not feeling good a big deal. Stop making your feeling depressed a big deal. Stop making your getting upset with somebody because they do something a big deal. This is the way I'm feeling right now. I'm giving this meaning, it's feeling all the meaning that it has. And I'm grateful that I got this experience that I'm having, and I'm still as God created me. I don't care what I'm saying about myself. I'm still cool.
Yeah.
That's basically. I'll hold the question. We're gonna hold it to the question time. And so, what's happening right now is that we have to be gentle with ourselves, and we have to be happy learners by understanding that it's okay to make a mistake. It's okay to not do it right all the time. It's okay to seem like you didn't do it consistently all the time. That tolerance for that part of yourself keeps it from being a block. Yes. Tolerance for what you think of as your weakness keeps it from becoming an obstacle. Yes. Because what a weakness has no power. That's why it's called weakness. Weakness doesn't have any power to stop anything. Weakness doesn't have any power to do it. So we call weakness power. Oh, I can't accomplish this because I'm so weak. Well, if you're so weak, there's nothing to stop you from accomplishing it, because weakness has no power. So, but what happened was we're unplugging from our own source. We're unplugging from our own source. And so if you're in a relationship with someone, it's really about, how can I be an extension of love to my partner, to my friend, my mate, not how much can I get them to do the thing that's going to make me feel important and good about myself tonight. And I'm upset when they came in because I needed them to come home at 6:30 and they came home at 7, and coming home at 6:30, that's what fulfills my need. So now I'm going to crucify them because I was trying to plug my happiness into their socket, and they didn't pull it off the way they were supposed to pull it off, and now I have a grievance. And that grievance blocks all your miracles, all your blessings, and all your abundance.
And all your fun.
And all your fun. That's the truth. Now, we will accept it whenever we get ready to accept it, and that's the beauty of it. You can wait as long as you want to get to the point that you accept the inevitable. That's what's so cool about the eternal. It'll be there whenever you are. That's why it's called eternal. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to wait 20 years to start recognizing that nobody else is going to make you happy, then you have 20 years to do that with other people who also believe that, so that y'all can see through your unfulfillment with each other that it can't be done. Because it's like a bunch of empty boxes trying to give each other gifts. You know what I'm saying? I don't care, and I don't care how beautifully wrapped empty box is, there's no gift inside. So we are in love with beautifully wrapped empty boxes. And that's the way it is, as long as you want to be with somebody just because of their outer and the way they look and what they have. It's like falling in love with an empty box. There's no real joy, no real pleasure there. So when it says here that nothing else matters, you will remember that the temptation to find love outside yourself is nothing more than an echo of an old habit. We're just in the habit of seeking for love outside ourselves. And guess what? A habit can't live unless you feed it.
Yep.
A happiness, you can't keep any kind of habit that you don't feed. You can't keep a habit that you don't. If you're in the habit of being broke, you got to let that thought go. If you're in the habit of thinking you're alone, then you have to stop feeding that idea. And said, therefore, feed the only habit that matters. Okay. So what is the habit that matters? The habit that matters is remembering the truth. It's true always, regardless of what's passing before your physical eyes and before your mind. So what the heck does that mean? It means that no matter what you're seeing, no matter what you are experiencing, the truth that we're studying is still true. Yes. You're not a victim of it. You're totally divine love. You are the holy, the innocent, and the good, and that you want only love. You are love, and you don't need to believe that anything that's happening outside of you is determining how you feel. There's nothing that you see on the paper, in the papers, in the newspapers, what your friends say, what your relatives say. There's nothing that anybody's doing that's making you feel the way that you feel. You're feeling the way that you feel because of the way you're seeing it. You feel the way you feel because of the way you see it. So that means that all the comings and goings and all the births and deaths and all the arising and passing away of universe after universe after universe in the midst of a flat tire or a sudden rainstorms, nothing holds value except your relationship with your Creator. No matter what's going on in your life right now, the only valuable relationship you have is with your relationship with your Creator. That's the only relationship that you can count on. That's the only relationship that really has value is your relationship with God, your relationship with your source, your relationship with your Creator. However you define it, your higher power. That's the only relationship. Now, when you have experienced in relationship with anyone, this is really deep here. It says, when you have experienced in relationship with anyone and anything, a moment of bliss, you've been with somebody and you've experienced a moment of bliss, a moment of peace that forever passes all understanding. You experienced with somebody a moment of fulfillment so doggone sweet and so doggone sublime that no word can even touch how good you're feeling, much less express it. What you have experienced is only the flow of the love of God through you. The person, the thing did not cause it. The other person didn't cause it. What happens is that you are experiencing the flow of the love of God through you. It was caused because just for a moment, the reason why you felt so good with that person, the reason why you felt that bliss, he said the reason why you let that love of God come through you, he says just for a moment you stepped out of your friggin' drama.
Just for a second.
For just a second, you stepped out of your dream, your worries, your concerns, your scripts. He says, in other words, you allowed the truth to be lived. That was it. You feel so good. That person was so awesome. What you were feeling with them was so good. It was just for a moment you stepped out of your drama. Then it says, then of course, this is great. He says, then of course you trick yourself. Right after that, you trick yourself. He says, how? You say, God, that was so sweet. That was the best thing I've ever tasted. It must have come from you. Get over here. I need you. Okay, let me get this straight. I want to make sure that we got this straight. If you're in a situation and you're with a person, you feel better than you've ever felt before, and you were with them and it's the happiest you ever felt, the most passion, the most joy, whatever, all the good stuff you can imagine when you're with this person, all you are experiencing is you allowing the love of God to flow through you. That's all you're feeling. And then it says, and then don't trick yourself into saying, it's you that caused me to feel this way, so now I got to have you. I got to have it. I now need it. Everybody clear? Everybody clear? Everybody here know what it's saying?
I think I've experienced this once or twice.
Yeah. Anytime you think you're with somebody and you think you're feeling good because of what they're giving you, anytime you're with anybody and in any situation where it really seems like you're feeling good and they're the ones who's causing you to feel good, it's not them.
Wow.
It's coming from you, not them. Your mind and your program is going to trick you into thinking that you need them to have that feeling. But they were the catalysts that allowed you to let yourself feel it. You don't need them to feel what you was feeling when you were with them. He says, if ever you believe you need anything or anyone, rest assured in that moment you are living in delusion. You are deluded. Every time you believe you need anyone or anything to generate a feeling that you're having, you're deluding yourself whenever you think you need anyone or anything to give you a feeling that you want to have. Because that feeling will naturally come through you at the point that you value your relationship with your higher power more than any other relationship. At that point, you will be generating that all that good energy you think that the other person is giving you. All right, boom.
Yeah.
Sharon.
The couple things is that you mentioned the dream there, and the dreams are the realities or our fantasies that we put on. And those are hard things to break. And we can have all kinds of knowledge, and we can read the book, and we can talk about, oh yeah, I understand it. But until that experience happens, you have what I call the difference between God knowledge and God experience. And you know what the funny damn thing is those experiences happen, and they're wonderful, and you know where they come from. And then you go back to practicing the same old bullshit again. And you got to come back and practice.
And that's the key word.
Practice.
Practice.
And when you were talking about we are having you weren't haven't mastered it.
Readiness is not.
Readiness
Readiness
is
is
not
not mastered.
Readiness is not
Ready as can be and willing to practice it. But by God, mastering it is just, I guess, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? You practice.
and the way you get there is really want to be there.
Yeah.
And, you know what I'm saying? It's like I noticed what I used to experience as having to take a lot of willpower to get done. I found that the more I wanted it, the less effort it took.
Yeah.
That I was more patient because I want to believe this now. I want to accept this truth that the love comes from within me now. Because you know what? I've been on the planet 64 plus years, and there's never been anything or any person or anything outside of myself that's ever completely satisfied me. Ever in my entire life of looking for anything outside of me to satisfy me. When I say satisfy me, I mean completely. I'm not talking about satisfy you for a minute just because they're conforming to your need until the next time they're not. I'm talking about you feel like there is nothing lacking, missing, nothing at any level about this that is not absolute total bliss and ecstasy for you. And so it was always get it after the next thing, get it after the next thing, get it after the next thing. And that's what he's telling us, hey, whoa. It ain't gonna never work. It won't work. You're not bad, you're not guilty, you just won't work. You're never gonna start your car up with your slippers. Okay, I don't care what kind of slippers you buy. I don't care if you get the best, most expensive slippers in the world. It's not going to crank your car up. So it doesn't make any difference how much you keep doing the thing that's not ever going to work. It's never going to work. It's not like if you do the thing that doesn't work enough number of times, then on the next time it works. So just let this go. There will never be a person who will ever be able to give you the love that you're looking for because it doesn't come from anything outside of you. Period. And when you thought it did, you deceived yourself, made yourself try to get it from somebody outside of yourself, and squeezed all the life out of the relationship in many cases just because of your fear and your neediness. Boom. So stop doing it. Why would I stop doing it? Because I really would have had to reach my limit. If you haven't reached your limit, then you're going to keep doing the same thing over and over again until you reach your limit. It just means you haven't reached your limit yet. That's all. It just means you're messing around. You just haven't reached your limit yet. Some people have much deeper limits of pain than other people. Some people, it takes a hell of a lot of pain before they say there must be a better way, and then they go do it. Some people, like me, I just a little winch of pain. Oh, hell no, you know what I'm saying? I ain't into that. I ain't into that ton of pain crap, Some people, they relish it, So don't beat yourself up. It just means you haven't reached your limit yet. Or you're doing it and you're bringing up the natural resistance that happens when you're doing it. And so be gentle with yourself. Love is the answer in every case. Yes?
May I please speak now?
No. Yes, you can.
This was simple. I just wanted to say thank you, Chris, for being you. You bring a lot to this class. And I love you. And everybody in here, I love so much. And I'm grateful for this universe.
Love is gratitude. Thank you.
Thank you. Really simple.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that, it is.
And I was
that's right.
waiting for it, right?
Always. Always. I don't mind waiting as long as I know it's going to show up. My only problem with patience is when I'm not sure how things are going to turn out.
Right.
And that's when I get really impatient. Anybody else? Any thoughts, any feelings, anything you want to say about anything that you've heard, or anything you want to share? Because we've heard some pretty intense stuff.
I really liked what you said about finding bliss if you step outside of your own drama.
Right.
Because I definitely, when you started talking about love, I've been thinking a lot about self-love. And trying to, for once in my life, put myself first. That's difficult. It's such a people pleaser. But anyway, I've noticed in my practices, because I felt a lot of fear and anxiety. I have a lot of complicated challenges with my health, and so I felt a lot of fear and anxiety, and just my mantra is just be here now. And I've noticed if I can seek some kind of balance and be here now, I guess the word for me is grace. I'm pouring more grace into my heart, and
thank God.
It really saturates and dilutes the fear and anxiety. But I really do like what you said about finding bliss when you step outside of your own drama, because I can be just such a drama queen. We were taught in the media to be drama queens, and so it's just seeking that balance that I'm here right now. I'm not at the hospital getting a treatment. I am here right now, and so I'm trying not to rob my present moment with what has happened or what may happen. So
Thank you.
it's quite a challenge.
Yes, it is.
But I really like everything you've said, and it's definitely divine intervention. I prayed about finding something like this, and
Thank you.
and the universe answered with, "Here you go." So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Because appreciation will draw even more out of me. It's amazing what appreciation will bring out of a person.
Well, and then just also, one last thing is,
Mm-hmm.
I have a profound difficult time letting people be there for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't wash my hair for 2 weeks, and Sarah J washed my hair yesterday, and it felt so profoundly uncomfortable but loving. But, so I know now, like in my own personal recovery, if I feel too comfortable, that's a warning sign. So I need to be comfortable with feeling uncomfortable.
That was what I was saying.
Changing patterns of behavior.
Because that's how you knew. Like you said, normally you would
Oh,
let
yeah.
yourself receive, you let her give it to you, and it felt. That's what I'm saying. If you're really changing, then there's some discomfort, but it's not the kind of discomfort that makes you feel bad about yourself. It's a discomfort that makes you go, oh my
It's a
God.
good stretch.
Yeah, it's a good stretch. You know what I'm saying? So don't let discomfort, don't let the desire for comfort stop you from evolving. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, my question is just to add to that. I mean, how long does the uncomfort have to go on? I mean, seriously, because I've been doing this work. I've been practicing.
How long
I've
does
been
this last?
practicing for 25 years.
Mhm.
Everything you said tonight, I know in my heart,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that I'm love, and I'm a being of love. I'm being of light. I'm being of light. It all comes from my source. I've been practicing this, so I am lots of times at that moment. I'm completely okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I am happy with the way things are in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So it's okay to be comfortable.
It's okay. It's okay to be comfortable, and it's okay to be uncomfortable.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. It's okay to be
But it doesn't
comfortable.
always, because I always think, wow, I have to learn the next lesson, or I have to learn
That's
the next
actually
lesson.
into learning, thank God. That's why I'm doing this stuff. I'm not one of these people that want to be an eternal learner.
Right.
I'm a person who wants to learn whatever the lesson is so that I can be what I truly am, which is a creator.
Okay.
A creator is much better than being a learner.
Yes.
Right.
You know?
Much more fun.
So so I think
Thank you.
exactly. Because bliss is ultimately going to be what we experience, and we don't have to learn through pain. We don't have to learn through pain. It's not necessary to learn through pain at all.
There's an Eckhart Tolle saying that says, you know, pain is part of life, but suffering is optional.
That's right. That's right. And so, thank you. Thank you.
You know, I'm a good learner. My retention is really down, though.
Well, in the proportion of you're in. How much you retain and remember is kind of like the way you would judge how good of a learner you are.
That's what learning
it's
means.
because learning you have to use memory in order to learn. But again, it's like the course says, it's all about a motivation. I swear to God, it's all a matter of motivation. It's all if you are motivated, you will study this or whatever your spiritual path is, and you will practice it, and you'll be. Nobody has to make me get up in the morning and do any of my lessons or do any of my. I look forward to it. It turns me on. It makes my day go better. So, and in the beginning, I went through the same things I always hear people talk about in my classes. The only difference that I ever see is how motivated I was versus how motivated they are. That's the only difference between me and anybody else is how much, because if you're motivated, then it won't be so hard to do it because you'll be doing what you want to do. And when you're doing what you want to do is when you enjoy yourself the most. I want to learn how to love you all. I want to stop hurting myself by seeking outside of myself. I want to stop blaming other people for what I go through. I don't want to see myself as a victim. I don't want to see myself as a body that just has a few years to live and then all the things that the world teaches, I no longer have a desire to see myself that way. And so since it's just a matter of me changing my mind, I found the easy way. Because now I don't try to change nobody else's mind. And so my life is so much more peaceful now. I don't know why. I wish I had let go of my control freak ass a long time ago, so I could have enjoyed my life a whole lot more. I'm telling you.
I bet you have more time and more money.
Everything. You have more of everything when you let go of what you don't have control of. No way. You know, it's like you don't give nobody their freedom. You know, it's just funny. People are not on this planet to act out my script. so that I'll be happy. It's just, it's funny. It's like, and once you see that, you no longer let anybody control you anymore.
Yeah.
It's like they can't control you anymore because you know the loss of them wouldn't be a loss anyway. so they can't really threaten you with, I'm going to leave you or I'm going to go to somebody. You'd be like, please go.
do, please.
I will bless you. We'll have a releasing prayer, have a releasing dinner.
Yes.
I'll bless you to go wherever, because if somebody else can do it better than I can and they need to be
Yes.
different from me, please, baby, I want you to have that. I mean that to the bottom of my heart when somebody says that they're going to let me go because of something I'm doing. It's like, okay, if I'm not
Thank
actually
you.
trying to attack you, hurt you, wish you any harm, stop you from having what you want, and you still upset with me about something that has nothing to do with me, it's all about you having some script that you want to act it out of your own selfishness and unawareness. So I don't mind losing an unaware person from my life.
Yeah.
And I can bless them. I don't have to judge them and criticize them. And in the minute you create that vacuum, the universe sends someone that's even cooler to take the place of the person that's just left, who left of their own free will because they couldn't handle love. So it's never a loss to lose a loss.
A loss to lose a loss.
And that's what this is what it's telling us. It's like, and I'm going to tell you how to do it. See, that's the other thing. It says, ask yourself so many times a day, am I committed to love? Am I committed to fear? Remember the next time you're feeling good with somebody, that feeling is coming from you and not from them. That's all it's asking us to do, is just remember what it's telling us. So when we're in those experiences, we'll remember the truth about it. What the hell is hard about that? It's a change of perception. It's not anything you being asked. Nobody's asking you to go mow grass and run around the block 30 times. It just says all you have to do is remember the next time you're feeling good with somebody, it's not coming from them, it's coming from you. You still can feel the feeling. It's not stopping you having the feeling. It's just telling you to look at the feeling a new way so you won't hurt yourself by trying to plug your cord in the wrong socket all the time. If you're telling me that that's harder than the crap we go through to try to have somebody's love, then you're insane. You're totally fucking insane.
You're right, we are.
Yeah, and we are. And that's what the book is saying. You all are insane.
Yes.
But not all of you. Just a part of you. Your real self is very sane, but you've learned some insane things since the day you were born. And you've got to be strong enough to no longer allow yourself as an adult, especially, to be ruled by things you learned from people who didn't know the truth either. So there's no excuse, y'all. We can no longer bring up our childhood and all the rest of that stuff as an excuse to say, this is why I'm not enjoying my life right now. We got to let that go, because that's me still looking for something outside of myself to make me happy, even if it's just saying my life and my childhood should have made me happy, and my parents should have done a better job. That's still trying to plug my cord in the wrong socket, and we've already been told it will never work ever. It never has, and it never will, because it says in the Course, you will stop doing something when you realize it won't work and get you what you want.
Right.
Then ever you stop doing something because you feel guilty about it.
That's right.
He said feeling guilty about something is nothing but to guarantee you're going to do it again. You make somebody feel guilty, they're just going to do the same thing again. That's why going off on people never accomplishes what you want to accomplish. If I did something that upset you and then you go off on me and I let myself feel guilty about that, I'm going to be drawn to do that same thing again. Because the part of me that loves guilt, which is the part of me that doesn't love me, it's going to always make me try to do the things that make me feel bad. So if you have me feel bad, I'm going to do those things that make you feel bad. So it's like saying, hey, back up, y'all. It's not going to work. Nobody's here to be your puppet. Nobody's purpose in life is to act out your fantasies. And I'm telling you, that's hard for me to say, because I love my fantasy. I was Mr. Fantasy of the friggin' universe until all my fantasies were fulfilled and I wasn't happy. Then I went, oh, I'm deceiving myself. There's a trick going on around here. Because I just had every single thing that I said I ever thought I ever wanted, and I'm still not satisfied. Boop! Your new spiritual path shows up. Now you're ready to hear something different, right? So I want all of you to have your fantasies. I want all of you to have every little thing, script that you think you want. I want you to get all that stuff so that you'll see it's not it. So that you can be about the thing that'll really make you happy.
Amen.
That's the only thing that's why it says in the Course, like heaven is happy every time you're crying about some plan that you made that didn't turn out. And I was like, whoa, that's cold. But then the other hand, I saw the truth of it. The more I failed at what doesn't work anyway, the closer I'm getting to the point that I let somebody show me how to really have what I want. So every time you fail, you're closer to that point where you give up and realize you don't know how to make yourself happy, and you never will. And then so after every failure, you're getting closer to that, and closer to that. Until one day you're going to go, all right, use me. I'm going to give it up. I'm going to let that which really knows what happiness is use my freaking body. My plans don't work. You know. Yes.
So, you were talking about motivation.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens with me, my experience is I get really motivated with this. And I get really into this. And then, oh boy, I get all this love. But then I get what I call love overdose. I reach my limit of love. And then I'm like, okay, this is love. And then like, I turn the other way. I like dive into like darkness because I'm like, oh, this is too much. And so then I like dive into darkness. And then I get into the darkness for a while. Then I'm like, okay, I want that love again. And then I turn back to the love. And so, am I doing it wrong?
As long as you turn back to the love, you're never doing it wrong. As long as you keep turning back to the love, you're never doing it wrong. You're never wrong when you go back to, I want to practice the truth, I want to live the truth, I want to go to the light. No. Again, you mentioned the contrast that you go through when you're trying to be awake, which is you go through darkness and you go through fear. You know, I know what it feels like to dive into darkness. I'm black.
Really?
Okay, really. I know people say, I never noticed. And I always go, are you blind? Can you not see? I don't really have a problem with having brown skin, so I have to pretend it's not on my body. But you're going to have those contrasts because we learn through comparison and contrast when we learn how to undo our ego. And it's through comparing. Oh, being with you is peaceful. Being with you is hell. I think I'm going to be with you. I got to have comparison and contrast. And so now we've had the contrast of the pain. Now we're going to get the contrast of true joy and peace beyond our wildest dreams so that we'll voluntarily side with stand in the peace of the joy beyond our wildest dreams.
Yes.
So you've already had the hell side of the contrast because you've been a human being on earth, okay? So that's the only qualification you needed, okay? So you've already done that. Now we're getting ready to see the difference in how love operates so that we'll start choosing for love and choosing for peace. And I'm thankful that I'm getting ready to see that. And I'm also thankful that I'm awake enough not to be fighting my own happiness all the time.
Yeah.
You know, which is awesome. Anna, you had your hand up a little while ago. Do you remember?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
Okay.
But thank you for
Yeah.
remembering.
Yeah, it's good. Okay. All right, let's take a breath. You don't have to remember everything. Just try to remember one thing that you know you want to try to use. Okay? Anyone else have a question or comment about anything before I continue pushing through the material? Because the next section is called All You Need Is Love. All you need is love. Love is all you need. Love is all you need. Love is all you need. Yeah. All right. Now remember this. If you're very upset about anything that you heard me say, it means you didn't hear that correctly. That's all it means. It just means whatever you're upset about, anything I said, and now your ego is trying to make you feel really ooky or weird about it, just say, okay, I totally misperceived what he just said. I don't have the slightest idea of what he just said. My ego is trying to trick me. Why? Because I feel like crap and I don't like the way I'm feeling. So that means I hope I'm wrong. I want another way to look at it. I hope I'm wrong. I want another way to look at it. I hope I'm wrong. I want another way to look at it. Perhaps there's another way to look at it. What can I lose by asking?
And it's not Earl's fault.
It's right. I'm innocent. I didn't write this damn book, so don't be like getting mad at me. Because you see me, if you follow me in the book, you know I'm just saying what's on the page. But I'm trying to give it life and give it meaning and not just be meaningless symbols on the page that we're saying to each other in those little study group that everybody's falling asleep in. Okay? We've all been to those.
Yeah.
Pass the book around. Then everybody get together and analyze and argue about something they don't even understand. And so I went to a spiritual class last night. And I was determined my freaking class that we're not going to be like that. You know, so I know I'm not for everybody. Nobody is. You know what I'm saying? You just want to be for the ones you for.
Yeah.
And the ones that's for you. It took me a while to get that. It's like, no. You in the world, It's okay. There'll always be those people that love you the way you are, but you have to take a stand. You have to take a stand. What's taking a stand? You have to start loving yourself the way you are. That's what taking a stand means.
That's right.
That Earl loves Earl the way Earl is. And so, God, I'm still working on that, you know? Because I know more about him than you do. Yeah, that's right. I've seen my own shadow. I've seen my shadow side. That's right, that's right. And y'all know we all live in Groundhog's Day. You know we live in that movie Groundhog's Day where the guy was reliving the same day over and over again. Who saw that movie?
Yes.
All right. So notice that he got to the point that he relived the same day. So many times. He lived the same day so many times that he knew what was going to happen before it happened. And that's why you can predict your future, because you're just predicting your past, because you've been through it so many times. You know when you saw that person, oh hell, here I go again. And you call that being attracted to the person.
Yes, I
And you
recognize them.
and all you're doing is just, here's a perfect match to your pattern that's just walked in the room. Here's
I
the
knew
perfect
you. As
match.
soon as I saw you,
I
I
knew
knew
you.
you.
I knew you, yeah, because I'm finna project every ounce of my past on you. And you're gonna have to make up for every person that came before you, because you're not gonna treat me the way they did.
That's right.
So I'm gonna be looking at you in terms of everybody else before you, so I'm really having a relationship with somebody that's not really there. And people wonder why our relationships don't work. No, people are not in a relationship with the person they're with. They're in a relationship with all the people they were with before. They're trying to make sure this person doesn't do the same thing that the rest of them did. So you don't even get a chance to see who you with. So all you need is love. All you need is love. Okay, let's see what it says. Now it says that. I was just saying the first line. All you need is love. Love fulfills all things. Love embraces all things. Love heals all things. Love transforms 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 all things. Remember, well, you and only you can become the cause of your fulfillment, your peace, and your completion of time. What does it require? It requires that you do nothing save remember to establish the connection with your Creator. How many times we need to hear this? You know what I'm saying? It says, is it not true that what you desire most of all is love? And isn't it true that what we desire most of all is love? Isn't it true what we desire most of all is love? Isn't it true that you hope that each relationship, no matter how short, no matter what its form, that each journey, that each undertaking will allow you to experience peace? Isn't it true that you hope every relationship that you have will bring you peace? Don't you hope every relationship you have will bring you peace? Isn't it true that you who find yourselves in and as a body temporarily in time? Have you found yourself being a body temporarily? Aren't you being a body temporarily? What all of you? Aren't you in bodies? And I hate to break it to you, but you're in your body temporarily. Yeah, I really think about death more than I used to when I was younger. It seems to go with being young. Don't think about death. Get old, death kind of like creeps up on you. Death like tapping you on your shoulders. I've been waiting for you, big boy. I just knew that if I waited long enough,
You'd be mine.
you'd be mine. I was just waiting for you. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny. It's like I tell people that the whole idea of death is sort of like you're on this bridge. And when you're young, you don't see the other side of the bridge. You don't see the shore.
No, you don't.
You're just walking, you're on the bridge. And then you get around 50 or so, and you go, what's that? What's that in the distance? What's that over there? And then the further you go across the bridge, you get a chance to, first you begin to see the buildings, because you get closer now to the point I can see the people in the windows. Something's happening here. So I'm not going to spend all my time trying to pretend that my body won't be laid down. I would much rather spend my time getting the correct perception of that event. See, I don't spend my time trying to hope my sister is 70-something and my brother that's almost 80, how they're going to be around, if they're going to be around forever. I'm working on being able to perceive their transition correctly if it happens before me. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't make sense for us to take the approach sometimes, it seems to me, that we take about certain issues. Like everybody say, oh, it's just age is just a number,
Yeah,
blah, 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 blah,
you
blah, blah, blah. And usually those are people
Do some yoga.
really young.
Yes.
But the point that I'm making in that is that there's a wisdom I have at the age I am right now that I would not trade a younger age for anything in the world. There's nothing wrong with, I don't have to treat my age as if it's a sickness. Or treat my age as if in and of itself. It's because it's my body that's aging, not me. I'm the same being I was when I was 10 years old, and you are too, and you know you are. You know that no matter how old our bodies are sitting up here, you're the same little kid that was running around in their yard when you were 6 years old. It's just right now your body's old and you just got more grievances. That's what you call old age.
It's moving slow.
Yeah, but we're being asked to take the same relationship to God now as we did when we were babies to our parents. We were perfectly okay to lay there and poop on ourselves and pee and scream and holler and suck on breasts. I still do that. There goes some more viewers. There come a whole lot of viewers. My viewers. They're like, what he said? Suck breasts. I want to go. I want to go to his class since I'm sucking breasts to get to God. I want to know that workshop. I'll be there. So I'll just watch my videos. I'll show you how to do it. Okay. Be better than one of them cooking shows. Okay. Of course, in milkicles. Well, you know I can't bring you no joy. That's not my job. Sometimes, boy, we get so serious we forget to laugh. But like it said here, so my point is, I want to look forward to dropping my body or staying here. I want to feel just as peaceful about leaving the body as still being here in the body. I want to love myself enough that I don't think I have to do it in a painful way. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm not going to, I don't want to be here in the physical body forever. I have no desire for physical immortality. I have some friends that want physical immortality. That's great, because everybody should be able to have any experience that they want to have at any level they want to have it. But I feel like there's a lot more out there to experience. And I want to be the expansive being that's not just limited to a body. I'd like to be able to enter a body whenever I choose to enter a body, leave a body whenever I choose to leave it. But I certainly don't want that to be this little tiny thing to be the entirety of my being, so that I can have some pleasure and some pain that doesn't really satisfy me while I'm trying to remember who I really am. Now, if I remember who I really am and you remember who you really are, this is going to be like, wow, the coolest, most fun, awesome experience we could ever give ourselves if we could do it in innocence and love and let go all those grievances and guilts and fears that we have. This would be like Disney World of God. If we knew who we were. If we really knew who we were. So it's not about me being anti-world. I'm just anti-fear, pain, attack. And no love happening. That's what I'm anti. Not this. This is an interesting place. I would love to enjoy without feeling guilty, but we have this belief in sin and badness that doesn't let us enjoy anything because we judge it so harshly. So you're innocent. So it says right here, y'all, it says, is it not true that the grandest of experiences that you have known have been those that seem to flood the very cells of your body with love and with sublime bliss and peace? I have had closeness and intimacy with people sometimes that we're recognizing each other to the point that we just look at each other and cry. And what we're seeing in each other is so beautiful and so tender and so awesome. What we're stimulating in ourselves that's helping us recognize it in each other. That the once you have an experience like that, you can't be with somebody that's going off on you because you were 30 minutes late. You won't even be tempted. I don't care what their body look like. I don't care what. I meet a lot of female bodies in my work and what I do in the world. And I'm a very vibrant, passionate, alive person. But I've never had more control over my sexual nature than I have now in my life. Ever. Ever. Because once you really want peace and sanity, and your body stops responding to anything else, you know you're either spiritual or you're dysfunctional. I choose to say I'm getting beyond it. I'm beyond the body now. All right?
You're spiritual.
I'm spiritual. That's what it is. That's right. That's right. That's right. I tell you, run around naked in front of me. Oh, no big deal. Say an affirmation. The truth now is my turn on. The truth is my aphrodisiac. I get much more turned on by the communication that I'm having with somebody now than anything about their body. Absolutely. 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 You know, and it, because it's a feeling that you can't describe when you realize you're in control of your body and your body isn't in control of you.
Yeah.
You know, and then people who are still afraid and guilty about their body and their sexuality, they're not going to be attracted to you no way. They need somebody that's going to make them feel guilty and who's not going to be satisfied with them, so they can keep that story going that there's nobody that can love them. So if you're loving, it protects you. It protects you from the drama people. It protects you from the people who don't want someone who acknowledges them and recognizes them in fact. They won't be attracted to you. So you'll go through a period where it looks like people are not attracted to you anymore, and you'll be wondering what's wrong. I'm studying all these books, and I got less friends than I ever had. I'm studying all these books, you know, at first, that's the way it looks like. And then over a period of time, as you stay consistent and sincere in your desire, here comes a person. Here comes another one. Here comes two more. Here comes, and all of a sudden you find yourself surrounded by some of the most loving beings that you've ever been around in your life, that you feel free to be yourself with. And that happens for a little while, temporarily, but then you continue to do your awakening and you go through the same process again. They fade away, and some stay, and then you meet some more, and it just keeps, because it's a spiral as long as we're in the body. It's a spiral. But you're always going to go through that period when you change in levels of consciousness where it looks like there's not a lot of people around you that's just like you. You have to be okay with that. As a matter of fact, that's a really cool time, because then you can change without anybody getting upset, because there's nobody around you that cares about what you're doing. That's the way it is right now for me. It's like I don't have, quote unquote, a girlfriend. So I can do whatever the hell I want to do all the time. Because when you're not special, people free you and love you. When you're not special, people free you and love you, which is freeing you, which is loving you. They let you be. It's the special ones that catch hell and can't do nothing. So I want real relationships. I want loving relationships. I want relationships where both of us respect each other for being who we are and want to be a safe shelter for each other to grow in and to remember the truth in. And since we also have bodies, we can do the things that bodies do. We're not being asked to sacrifice that too, but we're just doing it with sanity, peace, and joy, and no friggin' drama. And then we know it's coming from ourselves, so we're not clingy and killing each other and smashing each other. You know, it's like, I would much rather do the game the way I'm doing it now than the way I used to do it. It's no temptation. There's no temptation now. But then you look to people like you more in the body than ever before. No, I just feel more innocent about it than I ever have. So I don't have a problem with talking about the body or talking about sexuality or whatever, because I finally see it as innocent. It's when you see something that's guilty that you hide it. You don't hide nothing you feel innocent about. You hide what you feel guilty about. You know, and most people don't love their bodies. They don't think it looks good enough, or it's whatever. So we're headed toward an incredibly cool path.
Yeah.
We're on an incredibly cool path. It's so loving we can hardly stay awake.
Yeah.
It's pitiful.
You're killing me. That's the peace bubble right there.
But we don't fall down.
That's right.
The Broncos got a new player.
Oh!
Our values are a trip. A trip. Tell us how we can be blessed and love and have everything we ever wanted. I think I saw a prostitute down the street. What? Wide awake. What? The only people that's probably not laughing is the ones that apply to it. So remember this. Matter of fact, I think I'm gonna do this last little prayer. It'd be the best thing to do to send this off. So let's acknowledge ourselves for going on tonight. So we're going to do the financial expression of appreciation. Thank you for sharing with me with my full-time ministry with this stuff. It is so hard not to curse.
Yeah.
I love to curse. You know, people be tripping out if they hear 2 or 3 words.
Yeah.
But they're spiritual giants. I'm a spiritual giant. Damn! It just trips me out, man. We have a preconceived notion of what spirituality looks like. We have preconceived notions of what being spiritual is always quiet and soft. Now you're spiritual. And there's no gluten. No gluten. How you know you're spiritual? No gluten. Okay, so good. Yeah. So, also, those of you online, if you'd like to do a financial expression of appreciation, you can go to my website, earlpurdy.com. I really appreciate it. This is what I do in the world. Also, I'm available for one-on-one sessions called clarity sessions, where we take all this stuff and we apply it to the situation you're going through so that you can get rid of that block. And for those of you who are open to it, I've also done astrology and numerology for many, many years. It's just another means for the universe to communicate. And I'll also use that also if you're open to it, but it's not necessary. It doesn't matter whether you want to do it or not. That's what's called freedom. You know, people do what they want to do and don't do what they don't want to do. So I want to tell y'all, I've been really bashful and shy up to now since I've been teaching.
Oh.
And I'm just about to let myself go.
We're talking about breast and milk.
That's what I'm talking about. Did I talk about breast milk today? That's right. That's right. That's right. That's very important to suck on the breast of God.
Yes.
It's important to do that. Hallelujah. The court says the way you get in fear and guilt in the world of guilt and fear is that you remember not to laugh. And we took it too seriously. And so we can be sincere and not serious. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what we're going to end on. It's prayer. And it goes something like this. Nothing you do can bring love to you. Nothing you do can bring love to you. Nothing you do can bring love to you. Nothing you do can keep love for yourself in a form of your choosing. Nothing you do can keep love for yourself in a form of your choosing. I'm going to keep love all for myself in a body of my choosing. I'm going to keep love all for myself in a body of my choosing. Nothing you do can keep love for yourself in a body of your choosing. Now, you can keep sexual expression to yourself because that can be physical of the body, but that has nothing to do with love. Okay, so you not being able to keep love for yourself doesn't mean that you can't keep whatever physical agreements you think y'all need to make with each other for yourself. So don't confuse love and sex. Nothing you do can keep love for yourself in a form of your choosing. Nothing you do can make love appear in the form of your insistence. There's nothing you can do that can make love come in the form you insist on. There's nothing you can do that can make love appear in the form you insist on. So release the drama, release the dream, release the drama, release the dream, release the drama, release the dream. Release the drama, release the dream. Choose to remember the truth that you heard tonight. Return to the kingdom inside yourself. And prior to every one of your breaths, remind yourself, say to your creator, I want only that which is true always. I want only that which is true always. I want only that which is true always. Love is what I want. Love is what you are. Love is what I receive. Love is who I am. I and my creator are one. Love is what you are. Love is what you are. Love is what you are.
not of this world. The only real love, you'll not find it wherever you search. It's only in the waking.
Wake up.
To what you really are. Wake up.
Wake up.
You are the very thing you've been searching for. The very thing you thought you needed more of. Guiltless, sinless, child of God. Love is all you are.
Sing it, Donna Marie.
There's a love not of this world.
And that's what we want, y'all.
The only real love.
No more of those bargains made with guilt.
You'll not find it wherever you search.
Love is what you want.
It's only in the waking.
Say what?
Wake up.
Wake up.
To what you really are. Wake up.
It's time to wake up. Say it again, Donna.
Search only for what is false. Let it go. Give up the cost of holding on to what you think you know. Listen to the voice of love. It's calling you, telling you, wake up to the only true reality of you. You are love,
Love.
not of this world.
Love is what you want.
The only real love,
It comes from you.
you'll not find it wherever you search.
You won't find it wherever you search.
It's only in the waking.
It's only in the waking up.
Wake up
Wake up.
to what you really are. Wake up. This world offers you nothing that you need. You are the extension of all that is and never will be. When will you believe?
When will you believe?
When will you come home?
When will you come home? When?
Wake up,
Yes.
wake up,
Yes.
and see our love, not of this world. The only real love, you'll not find it wherever you search.
It's not outside you.
It's only in the waking up. Wake up
Wake up to who you really
to
are.
what you really are. Wake up to all you've ever been. Wake up. Wake up.
Love is what you want. Love is what you are. Love is what you receive. Love is who I am.
To what you really
You
are.
and your creator are one. Donna Marie Carey, that's real love. Let's give it up, Holy Spirit. Thank you for coming tonight. Thank you for coming tonight. Let's give it up to each other. Hugs are available. Sunday, 1 o'clock, Course in Miracles.